First, I want to thank you all for joining our webinar today on the power of integrating Northspyre and Sage Intaact. I know you all have busy schedules, so thanks for making the time here. And, we have a great webinar for you all today. All right, before we get started, I want to look at a couple recent and a couple upcoming webinars we have. One that's already passed, the live webinar passed, but of course you can always find our recordings of these webinars in the Northspyre knowledge base. One I wanted to call out that we've already completed was on May 3rd, ROI with Northspyre. Of course, that would be a great one. Look at the return on investment of working with Northspyre. Coming up here, we have one on May 15th I want to call out, vendor tracking throughout your portfolio. And then rounding out the month of May on the 17th, we had Northspyre 101. That one's a great basic training, all-encompassing kind of intro to Northspyre. So those are some good ones coming up. And again, you can always find these webinar recordings in our Northspyre knowledge base. All right. Before we get started here, I do want to introduce myself. My name is Ryan Morsey. I am one of our team leads for our group of real estate transformation consultants. I've been at Northspyre a little over 2 years now. Prior to joining Northspyre, I actually worked in project management at a large commercial real estate firm. So I've seen firsthand the importance of accurate and timely processing of payments on your vendor's invoices, which will be a major theme of today's webinar. I also have with me Eileen. Introduce yourself.
All right. Thanks, Ryan. And hi, everyone. I'm Eileen, and I'm the product manager here overlooking our integrations team. So I work closely with a lot of developers using a large range of accounting softwares, Sage Intaact being one of them. And I've been here for over 2 years now, but prior to Northspyre, I worked at a bank with some other previous work experiences in financial technology.
Thanks. All right. A couple more things here before we do get rolling. I want to remind everyone here, as the current customers on this call know, Northspyre is all about support, and we, take pride in our support system for you all. Of course, everyone who's a current customer has a dedicated real estate transformation consultant. They are a great one-stop shop. Any sort of questions, comments, requests can always go to your real estate transformation consultant, or RETC, as we call it for short. In addition to your RETC, we do have a full concierge service that can be reached both in the Northspyre platform, directly in the platform, or at the email concierge@northspyre.com. As you can see, they have an average time of only 5 minutes to get back to any requests, questions you have, which is an awesome turnaround time. So do loop them in on any sort of technical issues, and they can get you where you need to be. Lastly, we do have our Northspyre knowledge base, which I just mentioned. This is where these recordings of these webinars that all the webinars in the past are recorded and logged in the knowledge base. And the knowledge base also is chock full of articles, videos, pictures, instructions on all of our tools that Northspyre offers. So it's a great kind of database, if you will, of everything we do and how to do it. All right, quick agenda for today's webinar. Start high level, start basic here. What is an integration? And then we'll look at, one of the goals of our integration, of course, is unifying your accounting and development teams. The wonderful Eileen is going to do a live demo of this Sage Intaact integration, and then we can end with some questions, if we get any questions here. All right. Key learning outcomes, what we hope you walk away with after this webinar here today. An understanding of Northspyre's two-way integration capabilities with Sage Intaact, understanding the workflow, the seamless workflow of integrating your two platforms, unifying, like I had mentioned, unifying your accounting and development teams, eliminating duplicate work, ensuring consistency with payments, both across Northspyre and Sage Intaact platform. Hopefully, you also understand how to leverage Northspyre for all things financial accounting, vendor management, and cost management, and through our demo, how to actually sync vendors, budget lines, invoices, payments between Northspyre and Sage Intaact. All right, let's get started here. So again, we'll start high level. For anyone on the call who doesn't maybe fully understand what a software integration is, Software integration is the process of connecting two discrete software applications, typically through their application programming interface, or API for short. Probably heard API get tossed around out there in relation to technology, but that's actually how the two systems talk to each other, is through an API. So our bidirectional integration with Sage Intaact and Northspyre allows accounting teams to quickly pay their invoices and actually also see the payment information that gets pulled back to Northspyre from Sage Intaact without any sort of manual entry. All right, so of course, one of the goals with our integration and what Northspyre helps you enable you to do here is to never miss a vendor's invoice again, right? Got to pay your vendors so they show up to your job and they do the job right. With this integration, we give teams full visibility into invoice payment status. We make it easy to understand which invoices have either been paid or waiting payment, and kind of where they're at in this workflow. And of course, helps get your vendors paid on time, because they want that, you want that. That's going to ensure the best outcome of your project. All right. In Northspyre, when we do have this bidirectional integration, accounting integration set up with Sage Intaact specifically here, we have a number of accounting statuses. These are important because this is what's going to tell you and give you the info on where an invoice is in this workflow and at any given time here. So we have 4 statuses, as you're seeing on the left side there. We have a paid status, which means that the invoice has been pushed, exported from Northspyre through the integration to Sage Intaact. It's actually been paid on the Sage Intaact side, and we've fully pulled that payment information, dollar amount, timestamp, actually back into Northspyre and logged against that invoice. So you can see all in one place, the development team who's already in Northspyre managing budget, just go in, they can see, where invoices are at in the accounting process without having to send additional emails to their, accountants or get a login even to Sage Intaact. They'll have that all right there in Northspyre. So that's what paid status is. Partially paid, you'll get that status when it's been pushed to Sage Intaact. It's been pulled back, but that amount that you actually paid and cut a check for is different than the invoice amount. So we'll let you know that. Pending status, if you have that, it means that the invoice has actually been sent through the integration from Northspyre to Sage Intaact, but is yet to be paid on the Sage Intaact side. Right, so again, gives you great information. If someone on the development team, is not directly in Sage Intaact, is looking through, they see pending, they know that they've done their diligence, they pushed it on over for payment. It's now just waiting on, the finance team to actually go ahead and mark it as paid and cut the check. The last status we have is open. That just means your invoice in Northspyre, it's been approved in Northspyre, but you have not yet exported it out to Sage Intaact. Of course, it's not been paid in Sage Intaact at that point either. So that will be kind of your key to understand, hey, what needs to be pushed over to Sage Intaact? Anything that's open. All right. Like I said, one of the main goals, that we can hopefully help you accomplish with our direct integration with Sage Intaact is unifying your accounting and development teams. All right. So it kind of paints you a little before and after pic, right? So before the accounting integration, development teams and accounting teams are manually entering data from their funding package prepared by the development team at the end of every requisition, which is typically monthly, right? So, relatively frequently. Without Northspyre, the funding package must be manually coded, which can be an irritating process, especially if any changes are requested, after the funding package goes out. You're going to go back in there, you're going to have to redo it, right? With Northspyre, even with Northspyre without a two-way integration, significant time is shaved off in compiling and editing that funding package. However, without this two-way integration, the issuance of checks can be a little bit of a slower process. Again, a little bit more of a manual process than we were, like to see here. Knowing that Northspyre is, we take pride in automating a lot of the admin work that you do. So after setting up this two-way integration with Sage Intaact, a lot of time is shaved off on both compiling the actual funding request, documenting changes, and then specifically for the accounting integration, issuing those payments, from the Sage Intaact side. both of the development and accounting teams avoid any sort of duplicate efforts. Everything's synced up, everything stays reconciled on both platforms all at once. All right, there. So this is a graphic. We've done extensive research over the years that we've been around, looking at really doing a deep dive, talking to actual development teams and accounting teams that we work with, sourcing information, and put together this graphic here showing just how much time not having Northspyre and not having the direct integration, bidirectional integration with Sage Intaact, it costs you a lot of time here, right? And time is money. And even beyond that, right? Saving time is great, but we really want to enable you to save time on these very admin, tedious tasks. So, both the accounting and development teams can focus on what really matters, which is not typing things into spreadsheets, but managing the project and everything that goes into that, instead of spending time on these administrative tasks that we're able to automate for you. All right. So with that, hopefully that was a good intro, gives you a little bit more of an idea of what we're talking about here today, kind of the outcomes and the benefits of setting up that bidirectional integration with Sage Intaact. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Eileen, who's going to show you a live demo of kind of how that works.
Thanks, Ryan. So just like Ryan said, our integrations eliminate manual, duplicative work, and human error so that you can really leverage Northspyre for all of your financial accounting, vendor management, and cost management needs. And as a result, we now empower your entire team from accounting to development to inform effective decision-making. So let's dive into a demo to show you all how this works in Northspyre if you want to follow along. To start, I'll give you a quick overview of the one-time setup steps that will ensure that budget line, cost code, and vendor information between Sage Intaact and Northspyre will sync accurately without requiring you to adjust anything about how those values are logged in each platform. After this call, feel free to ask your real estate transformation consultant for our reference guide with more detailed instructions. Let's begin with the budget line setup. Like I mentioned, this is a one-time process, so I'll navigate now to my budget categorizations page. Click on my update cost codes, and from here, I can set my Sage Intaact codes. Our team can definitely help you with this initial setup process, but as you can see here, this is your management page where we map each Northspyre budget line to the respective account or general ledger, location, if that's relevant, and optionally your project and item codes if your team uses that and would like to track that information. Like I mentioned, Northspyre has a dedicated setup team that can set this all up for you as long as your team provides us with a file of the correct mappings. And once your budget lines are set up, we ensure that all information synced between the two platforms is accurate, preventing any discrepancies. And if any mappings change or new budget lines are added to your project, you have complete freedom to adjust those values directly from this page. And we make it seamless and easy for you by populating each of these fields with a dropdown of values pulled directly from Sage Intaact. Now, the second and final setup step is syncing up your Northspyre vendors. Again, the purpose of this mapping is to ensure we have that accurate mapping without requiring you to change the way that vendors are named. So I'll navigate to my vendor management page. And from here, vendors from your paired Sage Intaact project are now going to automatically be pulled into your Northspyre project as reference in this unapproved vendors list. We want to ensure that you have complete oversight into whether or not these vendors are added into your Northspyre project. We give you the freedom to approve these vendors either by linking them to an existing Northspyre vendor, by adding them as a new vendor altogether to your project, or just doing nothing and leaving them as unapproved vendors, in which case they are not synced into your project at all, and you don't have to worry about these ever again. And once these vendors are approved and synced, you will see them here in this approved vendor list on the left with a clear indication of which vendors are linked. From here, all transactions coming into your data inbox and out of Northspyre will have that correct vendor association. Again, our dedicated setup team can assist in the setup step for you, but anytime new vendors are added in Sage Intaact, we do automatically pull those vendors into your unapproved vendor list, so you now have complete control into how these vendors are logged. And that's it. And now that my simple setup is complete, our integration with Sage Intaact empowers your entire team to really inform decision making because we're saving you time on seamlessly syncing vendor, invoice, and payment information between Sage Intaact and Northspyre without any manual or duplicative work. So managing your invoices should become a complete breeze. Let's navigate now to the Invoice Data Index to check out this workflow. Our recommended workflow is for invoices to originate in Northspyre so that you can use your existing workflows of approving items in the data inbox and verifying all of that data before items are entered into Sage Intaact and payments are finalized. However, we do offer that flexibility in the case where this workflow wouldn't work, which I will cover later on. But to start, I'll walk you through the workflow of sending invoices to accounting from Northspyre. After invoices are approved into your Northspyre project, you can manage them all here in your Invoice Data Index, which is basically your comprehensive list of all of the invoices on your project. So just starting with a quick overview of this page, in your data index, Northspyre really just wants to make your process easy and efficient. So these column options here on the left allow you to toggle on and off various columns so that they're flexible to your needs and they're saved for the next time that you come to this page. You can also apply one or many filters at once to narrow down your search, and you can easily pinpoint certain invoices by using the search bar here. Finally, these grand totals at the bottom of the table are dynamic, meaning you can easily see how the cumulative amount of different groupings of invoices change as filters are applied or you narrow your search. On your integration projects, you should see a cost code and the accounting status column. Like Ryan mentioned previously, this accounting status is an easy way to have complete visibility into all of your invoice statuses as they relate to Sage Intaact. Open invoices have not yet been sent to Sage Intaact. Pending invoices have been sent, and paid invoices have been paid and sent. Sending open invoices to Sage Intaact takes just the click of a button. I can identify which open invoices I have, select those invoices, and I simply press Send to Accounting where I can verify my information. And once I press Send, you should see those invoices immediately in your Sage Intaact bills. So let me navigate to my Sage Intaact account here, where you'll see that all of the invoices I've ever sent will populate here in my list of bills, where I can easily see any of that backup documentation that was attached. I can view the details, and you'll see that all of the correct information is populated based off of that mapping that we did in the first step. From here, you can follow your normal payment workflow to send out payments, and all those payment information will come automatically into Northspyre without requiring you to manually enter that info. An awesome feature that comes with our integration is the robust error handling that comes with Northspyre. Before we send over your selected invoices, we want to make sure that there are no issues with your invoices that would prevent them from importing into Sage Intaact. For example, let me just select all of the invoices on my project. You'll see from this accounting status that the bulk of them are paid or pending already, so I shouldn't be able to reset them. We provide that error handling so that there's no human error. So as you can see, once I press Send to Accounting, we catch any and all issues, such as invoices already sent, already paid, or even issues like missing vendors, cost codes, etc. With this very clear messaging so that you don't have to monitor that on your own and you know how to resolve issues before they impact Sage Intaact. And now, for those invoices that are sent to Sage Intaact, you can use your existing workflow to handle those payments, like I mentioned, and those payment details will automatically sync into Northspyre without any manual work, so that I can now locate my payment history and reference all of the information related to that payment directly in Northspyre. So really, our Invoice Data Index now acts as your single source of truth in a single hub where you manage all the information related to your invoice, like my invoice details, my backup, and even any communication history if I have comments or approval workflows that this invoice has undergone. And with all this information now housed in Northspyre, we now have all this information available at your fingertips across the platform, from your anticipated cost report to your vendor overview to your report builder. And because Northspyre is dedicated to offering you the flexibility to fit your integration workflow into your existing workflow seamlessly, I want to highlight another workflow that we enable you to send invoices to accounting live. I'll navigate to my draw request page. And this is a great way that you can align sending out invoices with a given draw period. From here, I'll click on View All Current Invoices. And let's say I'm at the end of a draw period and I'm ready to send out all of the payments in this draw in one go. From this page, I have the comprehensive list of all of my invoices in this period. I can, of course, toggle on different periods if I want to. But from here, I have the exact same functionality that I previously showed you, where I can select my accounting options, select all of my invoices, press Send to Accounting. And again, we have that robust error handling so that we prevent any and all human error. And like I mentioned, using this particular workflow makes it easy to align your invoice payments with your draw process with minimal additional work so that you can reconcile all invoices across the two platforms instantaneously. Like I mentioned, the ideal workflow that we recommend is to have invoices originate in Northspyre before you send them to accounting. This ensures that you can approve all of the information in Northspyre before payments are sent out. However, let's say you have those occasional invoices that originate in Sage Intaact first. That is not an issue at all, and you do not have to adjust your workflow. So from here, any items originating in your accounting platform will be sent to your data inbox just like any other transaction. You'll be able to identify what those invoices are because the sender will say that it came from Sage Intaact. And if relevant, you can have these items undergo any of our automated approval workflows. You can leverage our Copilot analytics for proactive issues to catch overruns beforehand. And you have complete oversight into what items are accepted into Northspyre before they impact your project. So, quick summary, our goal here at Northspyre is to save you time and money so that you can focus on running your projects more effectively and inform good decision-making. Our integration cuts out hours of manual, duplicative work and human error. And with all of your costs and vendors now logged in Northspyre, you've now also unlocked a whole suite of features to maximize insight-driven decision-making when planning for future projects. You can leverage our historical vendor information, historical vendor costs, our various vendor analytic tools, and even use our bidding tools to constantly improve project efficiency. We highly encourage you to start taking advantage of all that Northspyre has to offer. Reach out to your real estate transformation consultant. We'll send over all of the setup instructions, and we'll get your integration up and running in no time. So I'll open it up to any questions if anyone has any. We'll hang around for a bit and see if anything comes in. And while we wait for those questions, again, thank you so much for taking the time today to learn about our Sage Intaact and Northspyre integration capabilities. We hope that this has been useful and look forward to having you guys leverage our powerful tools. Ryan and I will just hang on. Otherwise, feel free to drop.
Thanks, Eileen. Let's see. I'm not seeing any questions coming in. So no one has any questions right now. Not a problem. If any do come up, feel free to reach out to your real estate transformation consultant, and they will be able to answer those and get you going. Just want to thank you all again for your time attending our webinar today. And congrats on being a real innovator in the real estate space.
Kudos. All right. Have a great weekend.